Okay, so I just made a video you can check out right here about why I decided to live in Thailand for multiple years, why I really loved living in Thailand, and why you might want to consider living in Thailand. But in this video, I want to talk about things I wish or I would like to know if I hadn't have lived in Thailand. I'm considering moving to Thailand, what I'd like to know about it before showing up. So these are things I think you should know before you decide to move to Thailand if you're considering it. So the first one would be the air quality in Thailand. So the air quality in Thailand is fantastic during rainy season, especially in the south and in the north, in Chiang Mai and like Phuket, Krabi, all sorts of areas like this. The issue is during burning season, around January, February, and March, and a little bit of April, about half of April, maybe the whole April if the year is bad, you'll have really bad pollution in Chiang Mai and Bangkok. You can kind of survive if you're below Bangkok in like Pattaya or Rayong especially, or further south like Phuket, Krabi, Koh Samui. The air pollution down there doesn't get so bad. It's still like, if you're sensitive and you pay attention to air pollution, you can notice or see a little pollution in the sky, you can see it, but it's not that bad. Like, you're not gonna have any real bad health effects. You're not gonna get sick from it. It's not gonna, like, you can go do sports outside and enjoy. It's not bad. However, it's something to keep in mind. So you don't want to go live in Chiang Mai a whole year because during February, March, April, it's going to be miserable. It's going to be, you won't be able to see the mountain. It's not going to be clear. You won't even be able to see the blue sky. You might not even be able to see more than, I don't know, it feels like a few hundred meters in front of you sometimes with how bad it gets. So you don't want to be there during that time. In Bangkok also, to me, during burning season, it's too bad. Like, I feel like I need an air filter constantly, wear a like air pollution mask. It's not enjoyable for me, but I am more sensitive. So it's something you really have to keep in mind if you're gonna move to Thailand. You don't want to strap yourself down for a whole year and just ignore the burning season. It's a big mistake. I saw a lot of people who are new would show up and rent a whole year contract at an apartment. And then burning season would come around and I would see a lot of people leaving Chiang Mai to go south or to leave back to Europe, wherever it might be. And they would just think, hey, it's not going to be that bad. Surely it's not that bad. I'll just enjoy. Then a week, 2 weeks into the burning season, they start to feel pain in their throat or their nose clogs and they're getting some headaches, but they don't really make the connection because they're not used to pollution and the effects of pollution. So they just carry on, they get sick, maybe they buy an air filter thinking, oh, whatever, I'm in a contract, I'm gonna have to pay here the next few months, and it just ruins a couple months of productivity and life for them. You don't want to stay during burning season. Get out of Thailand or get to the south. Places like, I don't know, Rayong are okay. Places further south, Koh Samui, Krabi, Phuket are okay, but they do get quite busy. The countryside in between, I think it's there's a city you fly into to go to Koh Samui if you're flying into the mainland. Forget the city's name. It's like here, hold on, I'll check. Okay, I checked. So the name of the city is Surat Thani. So I oftentimes get it mixed up with Udon Thani, which is in the north. There's bad during burning season. But Surat Thani in the south, near Koh Samui, this place is actually quite nice. It's a smaller town. It's similar to how Chiang Mai used to be many, many years ago, just with less foreigners. The cost of living is very low. The quality of life is pretty okay. And you have, the only issue is you don't have access to many foreign foods in this city. But yeah, overall, it doesn't have much pollution during burning season. So that city, or Phuket, Rayong, maybe Koh Samui, Krabi, these places are okay during burning season. But otherwise, get out of the north, get out of, in my opinion, even Bangkok, or at least buy an air filter. It's only like $30 to $50, $60 to buy an air filter. I don't care. Travel with it. Just trust me on this. You're going to want an air filter if you're staying anywhere, even in Bangkok, during burning season. Like, it'll improve your quality of life in the absolute ton. Even outside of burning season in November, December, I prefer having an air filter if I'm staying in like Chiang Mai, because it starts to get dry, you don't get any rain, and you get a little pollution from so many tourists, but it's not that bad. But yeah, just the air pollution in Thailand is one of the worst countries. I mean, it's far better than places like India, Nepal, Philippines even to me. Well, Philippines city, Philippines countryside's clean, but yeah, it's worse than most countries. You gotta really keep it in mind. Don't underestimate the air pollution. It's great during like rainy season, but when it's burning season, it can get really miserable. Keep the air pollution in mind and you're gonna be fine. The next thing to keep in mind would be the visas. So a lot of people go on these tourist visas and do border runs. It's a little miserable to do a border run, but it's not that bad. Like you do it once every 3 months, you're good to go. The thing is, like Thailand sometimes cracks down on border runs, and they do it very unevenly and seemingly randomly. So you can just get, let's just say you don't want to be doing border runs more than 2 or 3 times a year. So to me, if you want to live in Thailand 6 months a year or even 9 months a year doing border runs on tourist visas, you can kind of do this. But of course, like don't violate the law, don't get a local job, don't do anything dumb where you're going to go to prison and get banned. Like don't do that. They are quite strict about it, they do monitor that stuff. But if you're just going there, enjoying life, maybe doing a little online work for your own business, then this is generally fine. But doing border runs 6-9 months a year, this is okay. If you're gonna try to do it 12 months a year or do like 4 entries a year, they're not gonna really be so friendly about this, and you might get denied. Yeah, you just don't do it. I've heard too many bad stories about people I knew in Chiang Mai who ended up either getting banned from the country or tourist visas or getting rejected and having all their stuff, their apartment, their life, everything over in Chiang Mai, and then having no way to really return for the next 6 months or even a year or more. So just the visa situation in Thailand is not too great. But I wouldn't really recommend doing these border runs. If you want to stay in Thailand, get yourself a Muay Thai visa or one of these long-term tourist visas, these new visas they introduced. You want to get something like this. You can, like, to me, I prefer the Muay Thai one versus the Thai language, because Muay Thai, it keeps you fit, it keeps you healthy. You don't have to go in the ring and do actual fights and all this sort of stuff. You just show up to the gym a few times a week. Do some running, hit some bags, hit some mitts. It's not too big of a deal. There are people who are completely out of shape doing it. Most of the gyms that offer the visa aren't doing it super professionally. They will do it if you want. So me and a couple other people at the gym took it more seriously, and the trainers would teach us more seriously. But if you don't care about it being super serious, there are plenty of people who are just enjoying themselves there as well. So I'd say get one of these visas, or if you have more money, of course, maybe consider one of the more expensive visas, like the Elite Visa, or I think it's called Gold Card or something like this now. To me, it's not really worth the price. I'd rather do the year option, which is the basically getting a Muay Thai visa or one of these long-term tourist visas. So yeah, just keep your visas in mind. It's one more thing about the visas, and it's why now I'm not living in Thailand, is certain countries don't have visa free, so that eliminates that option for you. And that's the case in my case. But then also, you can't really get a long-term visa easily without investing an absolute ton in real estate, or which is not really a very good investment in Thailand in my opinion. The return rates are not very good. Or buying like the Elite Visa. So it's just, the visa situation isn't very good if you want to live long term in Thailand. It's better to go somewhere else like Philippines or something like this. where you can get a longer term visa. The business visas you can kind of get in Thailand and stay a long time. I knew a few people who did this. However, it's not as easy as people make it out to be. There's a lot of paperwork involved and it's not very cheap. Unless you actually want to start a business, you shouldn't be like setting up a business and like doing this for actually just for a visa. Unless you want to do business in Thailand and you have a real opportunity, don't bother like wasting your time going that route. So yeah, that's the visa's out of the way. Let's move on. The next thing would be the language. So there's an issue in Thailand where you don't need to speak Thai to almost do anything, so you're not going to learn Thai. Even if people go to the education, like Thai language schools, usually don't even learn Thai good. So, because people speak enough English and there's enough English access where you don't need to speak Thai, but this puts you in a weird perspective where then like you're not learning Thai enough to communicate with local people too much. So you rarely have many local friends. And this kind of is a weird situation if you're going to be staying there long term. Like I met many people who stayed there over 5 years, sometimes over 10, 20 years, who still didn't speak any Thai. Some of them were married to a Thai lady as well, and they still didn't speak any Thai. So like it just... The language in Thailand, it's not super easy to learn. It's not honestly super useful to learn for most people, and they just don't hold on to it because in typical situations, even if you do speak some Thai and you start speaking Thai as a foreigner, they're just going to talk to you in English unless it's like some rural area of Thailand or market. Otherwise, they're just going to talk to you in their broken English, and that'll be that. So the language in Thailand can present a little bit of issues, but it's just something to keep in mind. You're not really, like most Asian countries, even if you try to learn Thai, you're not going to be very fluent usually. And locals who speak English will just speak English to you, and you're just not going to really become a local. But with that being said, I don't mean to say like Thai people don't appreciate it if you learn some Thai. Of course they do. Every country around the world, they love it when you speak their local language a bit. But it's not going to be super easy in Thailand from what I've seen to build local connections and friends who only speak Thai if you are a foreigner. It just doesn't seem to really happen much. I've seen like one person who's done this, who's lived in Thailand over 15 years, went to Thai language school for like 5 years, went to Thai university. Like they are the only one who truly has tons of Thai friends and may speak to them in Thai. So just keep this in mind, like the language, it's not a huge barrier living in Thailand, but it does exclude you from some things, and it is a barrier to certain things. But one example also is like I talked in the last video, the more video about like why you should consider moving to Thailand. I'll put here again, I guess, maybe if I can. But anyhow, I talked about the social aspects and a lot of like hobbies and stuff like this, groups and social events you can go to. So like I do a lot of marathons. This shirt, it's from like a marathon I did in China. In Thailand, I did tons of marathons as well. So in Thailand, a lot of the marathons are like public for foreigners as well. It's like a nice mix. Everything's easy and convenient for you. However, Thailand is a very health, fitness oriented society. Like they have a lot of it. A lot of people are interested in it. So they have tons of events. So the ones with English and like foreigners and stuff are like 1 out of every 2 fee events will cater somewhat to foreigners a little bit. Probably 1 out of 3 or 1 out of 4 actually. Anyhow, you can go to the like Thai only events as well. They don't mind foreigners, anything like this. Thais are very open about this. However, you'll go there and this is where the language barrier ends up happening. Try to go any social things or like running events or any events whatsoever, where you go very countryside. You can show up and nobody speaks any English at all. And yeah, it's not really a big issue. You can translate, you can do stuff, but just like language in Thailand, it's Thai people speak a bit of English, but it's not fluent enough to really for them to really enjoy or feel comfortable usually speaking in English and being good friends with you. So it's just something to keep in mind. It's not really a big issue, but keep it in mind. The next big thing would be the road system. So the road system in Thailand, it's actually pretty good. In Bangkok, it's a mess, but otherwise it's pretty good. However, due to like the population density in Thailand and how like the situation where motorbikes are having more accidents with cars, which are causing more people with motorbikes to get cars, which is causing more traffic and causing more cars, which causes more motorbikes to have accidents with cars. This sort of mess that's going on in Thailand is causing where there's so much traffic in Thailand because of this. Because a lot of the roads aren't fit to accommodate cars, they're fit to accommodate motorbikes. And as everyone's switching to cars due to the dangers of motorbikes getting in accidents with so many new cars, you have so much more traffic now. 5 years ago, the traffic wasn't so bad in my opinion, but now the road system really needs some improvement, and the Thai government doesn't seem to really be doing too much about it, from what I've seen. In cities, that is. So in the countryside, smaller cities, Suratani, like I mentioned before, I believe, or in the last video, I forget. But anyhow, Suratani, traffic's fine. But in Chiang Mai, Phuket, to some extent Pattaya and Bangkok, the traffic is really, really bad during certain hours of the day. And it makes it where it's basically faster to just walk. It's one of the reasons why I rode a bicycle everywhere, because bicycles are thin, you can squeeze through traffic, you can really navigate around, so the traffic doesn't affect you so much. But if you're riding a big motorbike or in a car, you're going to be stuck in traffic a lot in Thailand. The traffic system and the roads in Thailand are good. It's like the government maintains them good. It's just there's just not enough space for the amount of vehicles trying to pass through them. So you get tons of traffic during certain times of the day. And I mean a ridiculous amount. Like I said, sometimes it's better to simply walk than to take a bike or a motorbike or a car. So yeah, just keep that in mind. And the last real thing I'd like to mention, and sorry for a cut right there, I decided I would re-speak this because I might have been a little too public about things. But let's just say, the last thing I think you should be aware of is the political situation in Thailand is degrading in my opinion. If you're going to consider living there many years, the elected government seems to, like the democracy part of the Thai government is seemingly becoming more corrupt, there's more foreign influence going on, there's more woke policies being passed, and I believe these will hurt the country's integrity over the coming years. So if you plan to visit Thailand, it's no problem. If you plan to be in Thailand or maybe a year, 2, 3 years, it's no problem. Forget about it. But if you're considering or actually think you want to live in Thailand long term and settle down, maybe find wife, whatever it might be, it's not the best situation now. I really preferred the system they had before when I arrived, and most of the locals I met seemed to prefer living under where the monarchy had more influence, and the royal family was more strong in Thai society. Regrettably, Thailand has become more democratic, let's say. So this is something to keep in mind. Yeah. So with that being said, that'll be all for this video. If you have any thoughts, questions, or concerns about Thailand, feel free to leave those down below. But with that being said, bye-bye.